if he does come back, what kind of player we are getting, because we also got to remember last year he was only 22 now, or well, he was 23 by the time the season starts, he'll be 24 if he does come back.
He hits one
So
high in the air, left field. This one's got a chance, and let's go on a cowhide. Jory Ride, sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich. I promise you, we're not gonna have three fights in 9 seconds. If anyone gets that reference, that means you're a good hockey fan and you enjoy watching some good old U.S. Canada fisticuffs going, which was a great Saturday night. And then you put wings on Ryan Priest's car, and he might go flying into outer space, but luckily he's okay after his wreck on the 500. So it's great sporting 2 days for me at least. Chuck, how was your bowling week?
I sucked. Normally when you face the RailCats, we faced the RailCats last week, and normally it's a gimme, but this year they decided to say that you have to be 10 pins within your average.
Hmm.
Uh, you could be 10 pins lower or higher. Well, I should say 10 pins lower or any amount higher than your average for you to get the points. And since the week before I bowled out of my mind, um, that screwed me. So I went from a 144 or 148 average, and I ended up bowling. I think my high game was like 130. So yeah, didn't work. But it was fun facing the Railcats. Andrew, Brandon, Alex, and Dave K were there, and we talked a little bit about the team and that, and hey, they're excited to have baseball around the corner, and so am I.
Yeah, I'm excited for baseball season, but I know the closer baseball season comes, the quicker my son will be here, and the quicker I have to get out of this room, which has started already. And
Uh,
Ryan has been now officially moved to the garage where eventually I'll get moved to on that front. So he doesn't have a closet anymore because now that's taken up and free. So yay,
Unfortunate.
yay me.
On, on on a good note, our pal Roger
Yeah.
did send me a little bit of a gift box.
Ooh.
Lot of team brochures and newspaper articles, tons of DVDs, which are interesting because his response to my email when I said thank you was, "Hope you have a DVD player."
Well, luckily I
Then,
do.
well, I think you can play DVDs in your game systems. I
I
hope.
don't have a DVD system in my game system anymore, so
Ah! But I did get these guys, and
nice.
hate to make everybody jealous, but the black Gary, green Gary ice cream Sunday helmets that do not have stickers on them. These are actually printed on. Legit uh, awesomeness there.
Hmm.
That I've got one I think from the Chicago Dogs and one from Kane County upstairs, and I always say to myself, "Boy, I wish we had one of those for here." And now I do, unfortunately for everybody else. So your big task is to decide which one you want because the card that he sent me had both of our names on it, which means that I have to share. So you
Yeah,
think about that, and at the end of the podcast, we'll make that decision. You want to
I don't know if I'll be able to make that decision. That's a
It's a tough one.
tough choice. But we could probably make that decision because we really don't have much to talk about this week, as last week was action packed with the like what 7, 8 people that were signed, and this week we only got a solid one. That would have been Olivia Basabe, which we had three signed, but we delayed the podcast by a day, which then we were able to talk about Jose Contreras and Julio Pinto. So Olivia Basabe returns to the Railcats for a second season as he was a player to be named later for Michael Woodworth because he did come from Kane County, so he wasn't that trade that that mattress that the magical traits of the player name to be named later, and you're like, probably not going to get anyone. Well, we did. So
You're stumbling a lot. It's okay.
yeah, it's been a long day at work. Okay.
I thought maybe you were drinking early.
No, 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 no. That was I did do some drinking this weekend, but that's beside the point. But with Wasabi, he played 99 games last year with the RailCats. Let me pull up my actual article. I have some other stuff that I wrote in there that I can't remember off the top of my head. He led a lot of categories last year, offensively. Let's see here.
Solid
He
third baseman. I'll
Yeah,
tell you that.
solid third baseman. He played 99 games last year, which led the team. He slashed a 247, 326, 355, with an OPS of 681. He scored 40 runs, which was tied for second best, had 86 hits on the team, which was third. He led the team in doubles, was tied for first with triples at three. He had 4 home runs, led the team with 42 RBIs, and also led the team with walks at 38. Um, he started the season a little slow, but once he played the second game against King County in May, he went 5 for 5 and scoring twice. He is a This is what Lamar had to say about Olivier returning. Olivier was among the most dependable defensive infielders in the league last season. Offensively, he'll look to rebound in 2025. His 2023 season offensive campaign in the league showed his potential, but in 2024 he lacked consistency. He's a good teammate, does his business professionally, and works hard. From the conversations, he's refocused on returning to being a complete player this season. Yes, very solid third baseman. You don't get brick wall Wasabi because you're a terrible third baseman. He is
Exactly.
very good. We're concerned about the third baseman side of things, and I think we have that locked down. Again, that word consistency has reared its ugly head once again. I think it would for Wasabi, it necessarily wasn't inconsistency as like as many as like the hits he was getting. It was he was going 1 for 5 or 1 for 6. Like it was he was getting on base, but the hits weren't piling up as quickly. So I think that's affected his batting average. There's a lot of 1 for 5 games in there. So he was getting on base, he was hitting the ball. He would hit the ball every so often, and he wasn't combining those together. You know, you don't score 40 runs and you're not third best on the team in hits, 87 hits. Like his batting average is 247, but his hits were 87. So like he was hitting the ball. It's
Right.
just he was getting more opportunities during games and he wasn't keying off those. So it's kind of hard to say that the consistency wasn't there because if you go game by game, there's not a lot of games where he went hitless. It's just the amount of hits during games. Can he compile a handful of games where he's getting 2 or 3 hits?
Yeah, and a lot of his hits were in situations where they didn't really matter.
Yes.
That was one of the things. Another thing would be, 2 outs, he gets on base, guy behind him gets out, you're out of the inning, that kind of stuff. So I guess the big question is where do you put him in the lineup? You got him in as a third baseman, and if you want to look at what we have right now, we've got Contreras at first, you've got Howie and or Marcos doing the second shortstop,
Hmm.
whichever flip flopping them, whichever way. Uh, so catcher wise, we've got, you got Cooper back there. I don't know that you really have much power in any of that. You might have out of those 5 guys through a lineup, you might have 1 hit, maybe 2. You might get lucky and get 3 out of the 5. Um, but you're not. I mean, that's going to be a hard thing to base a batting order off of. You know, um, the only way I see you being very successful with that lineup or with that group is if you really focus on being patient at the plate.
Hmm.
And I think that's something that we really, as a team, uh, that has to kind of be the focus of 2025 needs to be patience. You can't go up there swinging at the first pitch, second pitch, and then, striking out. You've got to go deep into the pitch count, um, and be selective.
Yeah. On the other note as well, I forgot about this. Jose or Guillermo Quintana has been selected to the Colombia World Baseball Classic qualifier team. Or open the article doesn't, the tweet makes sense, the article doesn't quite make sense, but the basically it's an open camp for the World Baseball Classic qualifier. He's a part of those catchers, so it's going to be interesting to see if Lamar might potentially be keeping that second spot open for Guillermo potentially. It's that Guillermo I think has had a pretty good season, uh like an off season per se. I'll have to go back and look up his numbers, but the qualifier is from February 21st to 25th. So it's be interesting to see what happens on that front of things
So,
with.
so typically, Columbia was in it, what was it, 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, if you come in last place in your pool, you have to requalify again. And since Columbia came in last place, because Julio was on that Columbia team,
Yes.
since they came in last place, now they have to qualify again.
So was
Um,
Mariaga.
I believe Mariaga is also on that team with Guillermo because I've seen pictures of them together.
Okay.
So it would be interesting to see if both of them are there.
Yeah, I don't see Pose or his Mariaga on there.
No,
So I don't know. He could be somewhere else. I don't know. It was kind of confusing when you click in the article. It just kind of throws it everywhere, and it doesn't mention
right.
open camp again somewhere on that front of it. But looking at, I just
It'd
have
be
him. Go ahead.
interesting to see if that's the route that he goes, if he brings Quintana back. But I
Yeah. So, I
my
don't
big
mean to.
question, my big question to Brandon, this past Thursday was, what do we see different? Because all I'm seeing is a lot of the same.
So the only thing that would be promising on this front of things, for if because a lot of times is you see the Winter League numbers, and the numbers always seem to be dropped for some of these players. So not very significantly higher than they are in the American Association. Right now, Guerrero was batting a 229, on base percentage of 437, slugging 479 with an OPS of 915. Uh, in 34 games, having a batting average of 292 is uh 60 points higher than what his batting average with the American Association is. He already has four
What you say his average was?
in the American Association, his average was 239.
Okay.
And the with the Columbia Winter League, he's at a 290, yeah, 292.
Okay, because I thought you said 229.
Oh, no, 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 my bad. I
Okay.
might have flipped my numbers around. I do that all the time. Um,
292. Okay.
292. He has in 34 games, he already has 4 home runs and 19 RBIs. Last season, he only had 3 home runs and 29 RBIs. Like this would be more promising if we did bring him back because I think towards the end of the year he started to figure it out a little bit.
Right.
So and defensive, especially defensively. So it would be interesting to see if he does come back, what kind of player we are getting, because we also got to remember last year he was only 22. Now, or well, he was 23. By the time the season starts, he'll be 24 if he does come back. So
We'll
uh,
see.
we'll see what happens with that. Um, the only other big news with the American Association is they're getting helmet logos now of carbless sponsorship. They will be so it's a ready to drink cocktail sort of thing, founded in Wisconsin. They Carbless is ranks as number one as fastest growing food and beverage company of the 5,000 list. It's going to be behind home plate, and all of the American Association baseball stadiums will be on the helmet. Uh, more branding throughout the league kind of deal. All-Star game. It's gonna be the carbless All-Star game instead of just AAPB All-Star game. So I mean, from the idea of the league announcing a partnership, I necessarily don't mind it. I know there's people that absolutely hate helmet things on their helmet, but well, let's be honest with you. You look at every other sport that's doing it. NASCAR's been doing it for years. Uh, you got winter leagues, foreign baseball teams that have logos printed all over, soccer jerseys with stuff printed all over. I don't know if the pictures that they show of with the salt dogs with the side on it, if it's like that, it's simple. It might be a little bit of annoyance, but I don't have an issue with it. If it's going to bring money into the league and everyone's happy with it, then it's more money in everyone else's pocket, so you can invest in something else, I guess, at that point.
I don't know. I'm I don't know. I don't really like it. I'm fine with having something on the behind home plate. I'm okay with you having something out in the outfield. I'm okay with you selling White Claws or whatever else you want to sell, at the bar. I don't know that you necessarily need to put something on a helmet. That's kind of that to me is kind of
I guess for me it's like I didn't like it for like hockey purposes because they had the logos on the side of the helmet and then they took those away to put the branding deal on, branding deals on it. But like I understand why they did it, but like most of the logos on baseball helmets are on the front. So
right,
it's like you're not necessarily getting rid of the logo.
right. No, I got you.
Eh,
But to me, I like to have things clean. I like to see a nice jersey. I like to see a nice helmet. But
Well, and if they're going to do so carbless, it's just the name of it. There's no like it's just the white lettering and cursive. Like if that's what they're gonna do, that's fine. It's not like outrageously out there. If they're gonna make it blend in with the helmet,
right,
it is what it is.
no, I got you.
You're not gonna be able to convince anyone if like you like it, you like it, you don't. It's not saying that I like it necessarily, but I understand it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's it.
So
I do
that
have I do have a good one for you.
okay.
So AJ, um, really kind of, he has some players that he really likes and that he's really talked to, and even online he talks to them quite a bit, sends messages to various players that he's met at games and what have you, right? And one of those players is JC Escarra,
Okay.
who was a catcher for the Monarchs a couple years ago, and he then went to go play in the Atlantic League. And AJ kept in contact with him. Natasha's got him on Instagram. He is officially on the New York Yankees.
Oh, nice.
He is one of their three catchers on their roster.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, he posted that he was officially a Yankee. They had put him on the 40-man roster at the end of last season, so that they didn't have to risk losing him, and now he's officially part of the team.
Oh, it's nice.
So I might have to go to a Yankees game if AJ gets a hold of him and says, "Hey, uh,
Well,
we'd love to come see you play."
that would be we could see when they play the White Sox and yeah, on that front of it.
And then
So
send himself. JC Escar is playing on the same team as Aaron Judge. That's pretty crazy.
that is pretty crazy to think about.
But I could tell you then that he's a special player, and it's just coming to fruition now. So
Yeah,
that's pretty cool that you get to see stuff like that in the American Association.
I would agree. That's that I mean that's I guess that's the kind of the hope is that you build that connection with one player or a handful of players and they're able to find their way back and like the journeys could be a little bit different as far as Politics are a big play into it, or you need a little bit more room to mature because a lot of these players are either drafted right out of high school and they don't know how to be professionals quite yet, and they just need a little bit more maturity, and they come into a league like this where it's a league of second chances. So you want to be able to give them that, and sometimes you find your footing and you find your way back to the show, and that's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
Um, yeah, not a lot this week.
Such a bummer.
Yeah, so
What are we
Chuck,
talking about?
I, I got nothing. It's gonna be a short small week, I guess, at this point. So Chuck, you got any final thoughts?
I've got nothing, man. This is the first time that we've like really had nothing to talk about.
Yeah. Um, you could be a little bit on my part, just because I've been busy with work and moving a bunch of things around. But I'll get onto something. Maybe start playing with since we looks like we almost have a full roster. I can start playing around with lineups and where people are going to be playing at this point, and kind of discuss that for the next couple weeks or more
Yeah,
signings. It's just
that's a tough one.
yeah,
That,
but
that we could
we
dream,
like to
but right
speculate.
now we 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 could just say, hey, I can tell you with this lineup right now, we're guaranteed to win 30 games next year
Well,
or more, 30 or more.
guess we'll find out. I don't know, but yeah. Sorry for the short week, but enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you watch this, and go Cats.
Go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Wrap this one up in green and white.